Alright guys, this is something that a lot of people have asked me in the past, which is how to do well in the club contest. Now, club contest, basically, first of all, the club ranking, there's no reward with that, it's just kind of like bragging rights, so I don't really care too much about this. However, you do get some reward for your own personal score, so you should still try to go as high as you can just for your own benefit. So this can be, the difficulty of this kind of depends on how strong is your club, to be honest, because every single time when you're beat the milestone for your the difficulty as a whole in your club, the difficulty is going to rank up. Okay, so you can see right now, I think we are in the 6th week of this game, and therefore this difficulty is level 6. Basically, our club was able to progress to the next level every single time, and every single time when you progress, the highest reward, sorry, the points required in order to obtain all of the reward is going to increase as well. So you can see right now at difficulty 6, I would need to get 1.1 million in order to actually achieve all the score, and I got 1.27. So I was only slightly above that, and it's definitely a bit of a, I won't say it's an easy task to get all of the rewards, but there's certainly a couple of different tips and tricks which I will show you guys, which will make it a lot easier to achieve the highest score you are able to do. Okay, so I will show you guys the actual full gameplay of how I obtained my highest score, so the 1.27 mil at the end of the video. So if you don't want to hear me yapping, you can just jump straight to the contest, even though that's literally just a gameplay, so I'm not sure how much you can learn from that. So probably my yapping is actually a bit more useful, okay? So tip number one, this is probably the most important thing. Go to your setting, go to your go to your features and turn off your match animation. Okay, this is the number one thing you want to do. If you have match animation, basically what's going to do is it will take up your time, your valuable time in your club contest, because your club contest is limited to just 5 minutes. Okay, this will just eat up your time to watch all those animation. Absolute useless. Okay, so definitely turn that off and you already see a big jump in terms of your score. Second thing is try to play on auto. Yes, you can manual and probably make the better choices, but every now and then, unless you are so confident that you are able to pick the right action every single time, otherwise, once again, it's going to probably waste some of your time when you actually decide which one to do, especially when the players actually rotate. The position of all of your actions are going to rotate around as well, okay? So very likely you will probably waste some time just thinking about the next action rather than just letting the computer to take the action straight away. So I always play on auto. The only thing you can potentially do manually if you really want to is basically your bench player. You can decide when to actually swap in your bench player, but other than that, pretty much no point of actually doing it manually, okay? Now let's move on to the actual characters themselves and also the team line. So first of all, you need to decide who you actually want to be in a surfing position. There are two ways of going about it, and that's going to kind of depend on whether you have this memory or not. Okay, so basically in this game mode you get ranked, so you get scores based on how strong is your action, and power spikes or quick spikes of your spiking action is always going to get the highest multiplier, etc. So ideally you don't really want to get loads of surf aces and therefore actually take away from the fact that you have a strong spiker who is actually able to achieve even higher scores for you. However, having said that, it's actually very easy to get surf aces because the enemy is so weak. A lot of time, I end up the match finishing off like 12-0, 13-0, 14-0, 15-0, etc. So you are actually able to get a lot of surf aces even if you don't have a good surfer. And then this is where then this memory is then going to become useful, because when you have this memory, when you get a surf ace, you're able to increase your attack tempo by 4, and also the extra benefit when your attack tempo is more than a certain level. So that basically means even if you don't play Okawa, if you just play a different character, you are still able to easily stack up your attack tempo to more than the threshold is required. I think you need at least 6 attack tempo or something like that. And so that basically means even if you don't have Okawa, as long as you have this UR memory, just putting this on someone, on a setter who's capable of surfing, can already give you a massive boost for the remainder of the match. So that's kind of why if you do have that memory, I would actually suggest you put it on a setter and have him in the surfing position, because like I said, vast majority of the time the enemy won't even be able to get a single point, so he will be the one surfing throughout, and eventually he will run out of stamina because he will be doing the most actions every single time. So you do actually want a backup server also for your setter position, okay? So that's one way of going about it. Now if you don't have this UR memory, then what you actually want to do is potentially play someone with a weaker serve, so that you can actually get the opponent to actually return the ball back, and then you can smack them down with your spikes and try to pick up points that way. Personally, I have never really bothered going that because I always feel like surfing, starting off with a strong surf is quite nice. It also kind of helps with a bit of stamina management, because if you can get a lot of surf aces, what that basically means is the rest of your players doesn't need as much stamina, and therefore you can have your hardest hitter be on the field for even longer. So that's personally the way I look at it, but either approach can be fine, okay? Now, in terms of the remainder of the lineup, number one thing you want to do is you always want to make sure you have a school bond. Vast majority of the time, you want to go for, there's no point going for Nekama or Daytech school bond, purely because you don't really want to buff up your you don't really want to buff up your block or buff up your receive, because they're not going to score you much points. So you either want to go for Shirtozawa or Karasuno or Abajosa. And the way you want to do it is that you can literally pull whichever one random player from that school. So you can see here, I have this guy from Shirtozawa because I just need a mid blocker for me to swap out. He will be swapped out by my liberal anyway, so he's literally just there for filling in that school bond, and that's going to be enough, okay? So you can also do this trick, just pick whichever mid blocker that you want from the school bond that you want to pick, and then just have him to be subbed out by a liberal, okay? And then in terms of the other position at the back, it's going to be a wind spiker, right? Because you want your setter to be the surfing position, assuming you're going with this approach that I'll talk about. Then in which case you want to make sure your wind spiker is more receive focused. So in terms of your potential build, you want to make sure at least you have a 2 set for your receive. I still went with a 4 set of my power vibe just to increase the crit rate or the awareness for my hero, because that is actually quite useful for me to reset the cooldown for my Ushijima because it's at dupe 2. And even if your Ushijima is not at dupe 2 and therefore you need more spikers, and then in which case, yes, you still need a spiking potential on your wind spike as well. So this is basically going to be the set I recommend for your back row wind spike, okay? And then in terms of your front row wind spiker, the one you want is going to be full attack build. Now you may be thinking, why do I have Yamamoto? Because I clearly do have better options, right? I have Iwazuyumi, I have Tanaka here. The reason why I put Yamamoto is because of this ability. Whenever you side scores, you're going to be able to restore 10 stamina. This is massive in club contest. This is one of the reasons why I ranked Yamamoto very, very highly on day one when I made my tier list. Like, only him and Yamaguchi are the only 2 SR characters I said it's going to be playable even endgame, and this is exactly the reason why. You are able to restore 10 stamina every single time. This is massive. This allows your spikers and basically everyone on your team, right? This will rotate because this is the one with the lowest stamina. So this will eventually be spread to everyone on your team, and it just increase the longevity of your first team by a lot longer. Now, if you just happen to have a very strong backup option, then yeah, fine. You probably don't need this because even if your backup come in, then you can still do a similar job. However, vast majority of the time, we are not going to have that, right? We probably have one very, very strong hitter, also in terms of like potentials and memories, etc. And then as a result, you actually want someone to actually have your stamina restored to increase their longevity. So that's kind of why I play him. Now, he probably wouldn't even be spiking vast majority of the time because I haven't really gotten him up. You can see his memory is not very good either. In fact, I don't have good memory on anyone other than my Orakawa, Ushijima, and also Tendo. That's it. That's only 3 SSR or UR memory. Everyone else is on SR or R memory as well. So that's kind of why you don't really need them to do much. This guy, Yamamoto, is literally here just for the purpose of restoring stamina. And also he does have another nice ability is that when he's on cool, you also get team morale by 5 when you score. And once again, club contest is super easy. You'll be scoring all the time, and therefore you are able to increase your morale quite fast as well. Okay, so that's kind of why he's one of the best support unit for club contest. Now, in terms of your other remaining position, mid blocker, just put on your strongest mid blocker. I'll just put on Tendo because of the bond with Shirtozawa and also Yushiwaka. Okay, so that's my choice here. Now, this, to be honest, is not even my final build team. I can actually improve my score a lot higher. So you can see here, my score right now is already 1.27, and I already managed to achieve all of my high all of the rewards, etc. But this is not even my final team for my club contest. Eventually, once Yamamoto comes in, I will actually adapt this team slightly. Because once Yamamoto comes in, what I will actually do is I will swap out my Nishinoya for Yamagata. Sorry, one Yamagata, so the Shiratorizawa Liberal is out. I will swap him for Yamagata, and that has two benefits. One, I am able to actually then have my school bond with this liberal instead, which then free up one other options for my Shotozawa team, and I'm gonna actually change my hero to Iwazu Yumi. The reason why Iwazu Yumi is very good is because of this ability. He's able to increase the strength, which is a crit damage for your whole team, and this actually get further increase if you are actually at dupe 2, because then you're actually able to increase that further by 15%. So that together, it's already going to be 21%. Actually, it can get even higher if you have this at full level as well, right? At max level. So that in total can actually be a 26% crit damage increase. And that's going to make all of your hits hit a lot harder. So eventually, I would want to swap out my hero for Iwazu Yumi and then swap out my Nishinoya for Yamagata. Then other benefit of swapping out Nishinoya for Yamagata is actually I can also make my stamina regen on my Yamamoto even better, because this one only gives 10 stamina. By the way, I was really shafted on this. You can see I actually have him at dupe 4. Dupe 4. However, all 4 of my skill upgrade, none of them actually went to the most important skill for him, which is this one, restoring stamina. So I was a bit shafted on this, but it's fine. It still does the job, as you will see from my gameplay later on. But because this one is able to restore stamina, however, Nishinoya, when he performs a receive, he just consumes so much stamina that a lot of time what end up going is that my Yamamoto will just be filling out the gap of what Nishinoya have consumed, and that's not ideal item. So once again, I can improve my score even higher once Yamagata's out by simply swapping out Nishinoya and then have my Shotozo team from the other 4 players, and then also having Iwazu Yumi sub in for hero. So that is basically gonna be my strategy for club contest. So definitely do give this a try. In the future, in the long future, once we have Kita out, you can also swap Yamamoto for Kita and also have Yamamoto at the back, because Kita needs to do the receive. Kita is basically an upgraded version of Yamamoto. Sorry, I keep on mixing up the names. Kita is going to be a better version of Yamamoto in terms of like restoring stamina, etc. But I think he might need dupes, so it might be slightly harder for people to get. So until you get Kita, you definitely want to try Yamamoto in your team because it will increase your score massively, okay?
Karasuno High School, this is just the beginning. The beginning of their battles.
I got it! Sorry, cover it. You'll get the next one.
Yeah, send him a real nasty one.
Nice receive. Dang it! I screwed up!
Direct them to me.
Sorry, cover it. You'll get the next one.
Yeah, send him a real nasty one.
Here!
I got it.
I screwed up!
Direct them to me. Give me another one.
Yeah, send him a real nasty one.
I got it!
I'm gonna cut you down to size!
Damn it.
Yeah, send him a real nasty one.
I got it! Sorry, cover it. You'll get the next one.
Yeah, send him a real nasty one.
Sorry, the short.
They did it! That was incredible!
Yeah, send him a real nasty one.
Got it!
Over to me.
Sorry, the short.
send him a real nasty one.
I got it. One touch.
Over to me.
It's fine.
Yeah, send him a real nasty one.
Got it.
I'm gonna cut you down to size!
Yeah, send him a real nasty one.
Sorry, the short.
I got
One
it.
touch.
Over to me.
Sorry, the short.
Yeah, send him a real nasty one.
Here.
I'm gonna cut
Sorry,
you down to size!
cover it.
Yeah, send him a real nasty one.
Here. Sorry, cover it.
Yeah, send him a real nasty one.
Here. Sorry, cover it.
Yeah, send him a real nasty one.
I'm gonna cut
Sorry,
you down to size!
cover it.
Yeah, send him a real nasty one.
Sorry, cover it. One touch.
Direct them to me.
Sorry, the short.
Over the net.
I got it. Sorry, cover it.